my son has a learning disability. He has Asperger's syndrome, and he waited a long time before he was comfortable even thinking about driving. And so because of that learning disability, we just felt, he and I both made the decision that it was better to go through a driving school than have, you know, a parent, or myself or a friend teach him. And so that was one of the reasons that we made the decision to come to Driving MBA.
He had been behind the wheel just a little bit. We had tried this process on our own several years ago, and then it didn't seem to be working for him, and so we let it go for a while, and then he became interested again. So again, he had really not had the feel for a car, and so it was really, really important that he experience as close as possible to actually being in a car before he actually got in a car, so that he wouldn't endanger himself or others.
My youngest son had special needs, so I thought it was very important for us to come to Driving MBA. There's somewhere that they could work with him and give him a little more in-depth understanding of driving than I was able to.
Well, my first hope was an evaluation of his ability to drive, because Michael has Asperger's syndrome. And as a parent of any child, I think it's hard to assess the skills. And so I was looking for a professional evaluation first of his ability to drive. So that was our first step. And so once that happened, then it was important to have people who were objective, but knew driving skills and driving techniques and could teach him in a way that would enable him to be able to learn.
First was for us to have a professional evaluate if David had the ability to get his driver's license. I believed that he could, but I'm not a professional in teaching someone to drive or knowing if they're a, you know, safe driver other than, you know, I can watch him. But I wanted to make sure that he had the ability to accomplish this.
The reassurance that the evaluation that would be done on his ability to drive was not going to be just a 10 or 15 minute kind of thing. It was a couple of hours on the simulator, and to me it felt like that decision was going to be made appropriately or properly, I guess would be the way to say it.
Well, I think the most valuable thing for us, the thing that really impressed me about Driving MBA was that they were so willing to accommodate his needs. When I called and they asked me his age and I told them he was 24, the first thing they asked me was, does he have a learning disability? So they caught on right away, and that really impressed me. And so that was one of the things that we were very comfortable with, that they were tailor-making a program just for him to meet his needs.
I think there are children and young adults out there who are afraid to drive or whose parents are afraid to pursue that opportunity, and I was nervous about it.
They worked with him a few times on the simulator before they even could say to us, yeah, I think he can do this and I think he will do well. And so it gave them a tool to evaluate him, and it gave me a sense of comfort knowing that, okay, they're professionals. If they feel he can do this, then this isn't something we should not pursue.
The biggest part of the program for me was the immediate understanding of a child like Michael, a young adult like Michael, because Michael does have some special challenges. He asks a lot of questions. He really required somebody who was willing to be patient. He had a couple of times when he got frazzled and canceled appointments, so there was an understanding that needed to be there.
The hours that he had behind the wheel, each week they gave me a nice evaluation of what he did well at, what he needed to work on, and I just saw his confidence grow, and I saw him become a better driver. Yes, it took him longer than our other sons, a typical driver, but that was okay. We weren't in any rush. We just wanted him to be successful and to be a good driver. And I feel he's a very good driver. He tells me all the time.
And I think the instructors also here at Driving MBA are just outstanding. They really are considerate and polite and take into account the needs of each child, and they treat each child with so much respect. So that was a big, big thing for me as well.
Certainly I would and have recommended anybody who has any kind of students, children or young adults with any kind of special learning challenges, that this is just a wonderful opportunity to find out first if the student is capable of driving, and then be treated in a patient and understanding way.
For us, it was truly a blessing because we didn't know if he'd ever really make it to a driver's license. We didn't know if that was going to be a possible goal for him.
He raves about driving MBA because really, without driving MBA, I'm not sure if we would have gotten to this spot at this time. I'm really not sure.
It was one of our proudest moments for him when he got his license because it gave him such great independence. Now he is employed, he has a job, he can get to his activities without us always having to be off of work. So it's expanded his world, and I think that's a really disservice. I think there needs to be other ways for children with special needs to be able to obtain their license and still be good drivers.